All right. We are live and ready to go.
Yeah, I said about the DeMar DeRozan thing. I absolutely hate that move for the Kings.
Yeah, I'm not into it either.
I have no idea what the hell the strategy is there because genuinely, in terms of the team that they built, Harrison Barnes is better for them. Like, what the hell? Because DeMar DeRozan shoots a bunch of mid-range shots. He's an inefficient chucking guard who shoots mid-range shots, which are, if you're not extremely efficient with them, is the worst shot in basketball.
Yeah, he's like a player that got pulled out of a time machine from the 1980s almost. It's very weird.
But Harrison Barnes is a championship-winning player who plays defense and shoots threes. And he's cheaper. There's no fucking chance that the Kings have got to be thinking with their young guys, De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk, Domantas Sabonis. There's no way they're thinking DeMar DeRozan's the missing piece. There's no veteran leadership there that he's giving you that you're not also getting from Harrison Barnes. And at higher quality because Harrison Barnes is a champion. The only thing DeMar DeRozan can say for himself is that he was on the Spurs back in the interim period when the Spurs were absolute trash. Oh yeah, there's a couple of words of wisdom from Greg Popovich, but there's no he's been there himself kind of inspiration. It's just secondhand nonsense. So if I was a Kings fan, I'd be pissed because the signing just says you've already hit your peak. Your peak is first round exit. With this group, that's as far as you're gonna go.
That being said, how about the Lakers not being able to get anyone?
Yeah, it just goes to show that the Lakers, because everybody was looking at the Bronny thing to see what would happen with LeBron, but the more important thing about the Bronny thing is that it shows you what's going to happen with the Lakers. And the Lakers thinking that it was that important to keep LeBron that they drafted this dude. Everyone knows the Lakers are not going to compete. Now, you can get paid money with the Lakers. So guys who were just offered big contracts by the Lakers sign with them, but they're not offering stuff like that very much. That was mostly last season that they picked people up like that. So if you're not going to get paid by them, then you're just going to be part of the clown show because the media is going to constantly be talking about them. Because it's probably LeBron's last season, and you got the father-son thing going on. So any free agent is just thinking, I want to stay way the hell away from this dumpster fire. Thing is, the Lakers' only shot to actually rebuild in a positive direction would have been if they actually traded LeBron to Golden State last year.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder, in terms of it being a business, if keeping LeBron is really moving the needle that much for them compared to if they let him go and just tried to reload to actually compete.
Austin, I made a Mariners video this morning that kind of sums up everything that I think right now. I mean, having LeBron get you into the play-in tournament probably is worth money to that team. Lakers fans don't have any patience for, like, a rebuild.
And that's the sad thing, is that it's not like it's impossible to do, especially if you're a talented GM and, you use the Lakers' vast sums of money to your advantage, like Mitch Kupchak did. I still cannot believe that Lakers fans were like, Mitch sucks. He performed a successful rebuild for that team. He got Julius Randle, D'Angelo Russell, and Brandon Ingram. All three of those guys are max in today's league.
Mm-hmm.
Angelo Russell last season spent a lot of games as the most clutch player, as the most consistent player on the Lakers right now, on a team featuring LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Like, Mitch Kupchak did great by rebuilding, you know, he made excellent picks. But in addition to that, if it weren't for basketball reasons, he paired up with Kobe, Chris Paul, and Dwight Howard. But instead, basketball reasons happened, and they underestimated just how big Dwight's ego was.
Yeah, Mitch is I mean, Mitch made some mistakes, but I'd rather have him right now than whoever the Lakers ever need to show. JK, we all know exactly it's LeBron.
If I remember correctly, it's still Magic Johnson.
That's impressive.
But essentially, yeah. The only thing Magic actually did was get LeBron, but that's not even a big deal because LeBron basically, he had nowhere else he was going to go. The only two teams that he could have gone if he wasn't going to stay in Cleveland for the rest of his career would have been either the Knicks or the Lakers, just because those are the two biggest cities in the country, and he wanted to move his career forward for life after basketball. Guys who choose the Knicks decide that they want to do music stuff, like Ron Artest went to the Knicks because he wanted to make a rap album. People who go to the Lakers do it because they want to do movies and TV, and that's exactly what LeBron wanted. He made Space Jam 2. So, like, Magic literally didn't even do anything there. In fact, Magic is even worse because he was about to get Paul George, but because he started bragging about it on late night TV, he got busted for tampering, which delayed them being able to get him, and also made the Pacers realize, oh shit, he's actually going to leave. So they traded Paul George to OKC, which made the Lakers panic because now they needed to do something in order to get the fans to care. So they ended up using too much of their cap, so instead the Clippers got him because Paul George just wanted to go to LA. He didn't care which team.
I can't believe Magic didn't get fired immediately after that happened. The fact that he still has that job is humiliating.
Again, it's just because he got LeBron. But that was any GM in the league in the exact same position would have got LeBron. Because LeBron wanted to go there to do movies. Just, it was already a done deal. But speaking of retarded people making dumbass decisions in the off-season, guess what I learned today?
What happened?
Caleb Martin's agent, who turned down the amazing bag that Miami offered him so that he ended up getting a much worse deal with the Sixers, is actually the exact same agent who caused that big kerfuffle in Minnesota a long time ago, which ended up getting Kevin McHale fired, and then they had to forfeit like five
You mean
draft picks or some
the
shit.
Joe Smith?
Yeah, he was the Joe Smith agent.
Wow. I can't believe he ever worked again.
I can't believe Caleb Martin was stupid enough to get the Joe Smith agent.
People are too young. They don't remember the Joe Smith stuff. They don't remember who Joe Smith is.
Now he's going to be the Caleb Martin agent. Because Caleb Martin Dennis Schroeder'd himself. So I'm like, that's the guy right there who should not be working in this industry. I mean, you very rarely get second chances in this industry, but fumbling a bag like that? Good grief. Anyway. Yeah, it's actually great news for everyone who's not a Kings fan. If you're a fan of Western Conference teams. to hear about this DeMar DeRozan news because the Kings have been like right on the outskirts and could potentially break through, and this just fucked them.
Chill.
So OKC is definitely going to be scary next year. Denver, they've now got something to prove big time. The Mavs, I don't think they got that much worse. It depends on how Clay ends up working in the system. And who knows what the Timberwolves end up doing, you know? Maybe Anthony Edwards really is that guy. Maybe he really is him. And he takes losing last year so personal that, you know, he ascends or some shit. Who knows? But with Paul George leaving the Clippers are done. The Lakers are very much done. They're just a sideshow now. The Warriors are completely finished. They're gone.
It's on now.
And now the Kings sabotaged themselves. The only other up-and-comer to be looking at down the line is eventually as the Spurs get better. Wembanyama getting older. Hell, maybe they even end up making noise and coming into the playoffs as like a 7th or 8th seed because of Chris Paul. Who knows? But if you're a fan of a Western Conference team, odds of you making the second round are a lot better now.
I can't believe the Thunder got Caruso and Hartenstein without giving up anything.
Don't
That's
overdo
crazy.
it.
Just Josh Giddey. And Josh Giddey's so young that at this point he's all upside because he doesn't do anything yet, you know?
Thanks for coming to help.
Maybe Josh Giddey goes on to become a Hall of Famer. Who knows? But he's not a Hall of Famer right now. So if you're trying to win right now, it's a great move.
Let's do this.
I mean, they basically had Giddey on ice in the playoffs. They clearly didn't feel like he was the guy they needed at that
Like,
time.
the Sixers. I have no idea what the hell they were thinking. Being the ones to offer the deal for Caleb Martin. But Caleb Martin's not old, but here's the thing. They let Nick Batum walk. Now, Nick Batum was talking about how he considered retiring this offseason because he's 35.
Yeah.
But Nick Batum is only 1 year older than Paul George. Paul George is 34. And Paul George has a much more catastrophic injury history than Nick Batum does. So why'd they offer so much money to Caleb Martin when the whole contract that Nick Batum signed, the whole value of it is like less than per season of what Caleb Martin is getting? And Nick Batum already fulfills Caleb Martin's exact role and does it better.
In my head, Nick Batum is like 50 years old, so it's very strange to me that he's actually 34.
Very strange that what?
In my head, Nick Batum is like 50 because we've been talking about that guy for so long. I feel like he's been in the league for 30 years. But he's not. He's 34 somehow. Was Batum like 18 years old when he started playing in the NBA?
No, he just ended up coming in at exactly the right time to where he's been a part of a lot of different eras, it feels like.
I remember when Trailblazers fans insisted that he should be like a Defensive Player of the Year candidate.
Still here.
He was really good at that, even still. That's why it's crazy that Paul George did.
You're Marcia.
Like, Paul George is only 1 year younger than Nick Batum. That's insane to me. Based off that, I think maybe Nick Batum might have been draft class the same one with James Harden and Blake Griffin. I'm not on my computer right now, so I can't Google it to check, but that would track. Lord, it's already 9 o'clock.
Starting tomorrow, it's going to start getting up to about 100 degrees. I'm not happy about it.
I gotta stay here. Get the old girl up and running. Give that worm my regards.
After seeing the video clip, the Republican Party decided to make her their nominee for 2020. After all, anybody who would go vote first.
Ew, there it is. Man, just looking at it makes my skin crawl.
Yeah.
Yeah, there.
Let's do it right.
Aha, icy baby.
Gotcha. Bingo. Come on. Gotta focus. Or good luck.
Whoa,
Tagging out. All set.
this motherfucker
Bring
ate
it.
me.
Yeah. That's it. Chill out. Go. Come on. Gotcha. Cool off. Yeah. Yeah. Ha. Want that. Chill out. Get him. There. Come on. Yeah. Bring it. You're going freeze. Keep it up. Give him hell, okay? There. One more shot. Come on.
Shatter.
This one's for you. Cool off, silly.
Quite a performance. I'm impressed.
As you should be. So, where are you off to now?
Unfortunately, Shinra's been making moves to push back against the resistance effort. Once they tighten up the borders, travel's gonna get tough. So, I've decided to head for Wutai while I can. You're going home too, aren't you?
No, not yet. I can't. Not until I've gathered lots and lots of powerful materia.
I see. Well, try to stay out of trouble. That goes for the rest of you as well. You hear? You're bound to get caught up in the SRC's business at some point or another. Better be prepared. Right. Nice seeing you. Good luck out there, Yuffie.
See you back in Wutai!
All right. We did it.
There you are.
Need that radio.
Thing's practically an antique.
Even better.
You
give me a
probably
read back.
have seen this, but I'll send it to you anyway.
Confirmed. Those are the correct coordinates. See you up north.
All right. Chapter
All
13.
units have been apprised of the temple's location.
Good.
So, I did some digging. This Keystone curse stuff, it sounds like it might be the real deal. Everyone who's ever used it has ended up dead.
Close. To be precise, those who enter the temple are never seen again. Vanished doesn't mean dead.
And that's better how? Either way, the president's sending us to our deaths. Isn't that messed up?
He'll be on site.
I'm sorry. What?
And you're surprised why?
I don't know. Maybe because it's a terrible idea? Although, that's kinda on brand for him.
Wheels up. We'll arrive first and roll out the welcome mat.
Understood.
So DeMar DeRozan has made the All-Star game 6 times in his career. Most players that make the All-Star game 6 times make the Hall of Fame.
They're headed for the
But there's no
northern
fucking
continent.
way DeMar DeRozan makes the Hall of Fame,
North,
right?
huh? Tricky.
Yeah, he's
Can you
not a
get
Hall
there?
of Famer.
Can I get there? Only with one arm tied behind
All-Star
my back.
appearances are
Girl
important
might be missing
in
her
relation
legs,
to
but as long as
everything
got
else
me,
that you
it'll be
have.
Smooth sailing.
Mhm.
They're not
Oh,
the be-all,
man.
end-all.
This is gonna be rough.
What can I say? Life is full of ups and downs.
A good example is the guy named Joe Johnson,
Mobilize the Turks in the military.
who still
Hope
isn't
you're
in the
ready for
Hall
a
of Fame,
fight.
and Basketball Reference has him listed as a 50% chance to make the Hall of Fame.
Mhm.
He's been retired for 6 years, but he's got 7 All-Star appearances. It's pretty high up there.
Yeah, so I guess at this point he's not going to get in, because it's not like people are going to remember Joe Johnson
This is
fondly
your
or
captain
anything.
speaking. Outside
Like,
the windows,
Dennis
you'll see
Johnson
open
took forever to
waters.
get to the Hall of Fame, but he
Advise there may
won
be
a
sudden
Finals
ocean
MVP
swells.
and won another
That was
ring
it.
with the Celtics.
Just kill me now.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, because in terms of All-Star games, very few guys have as many selections as Joe Johnson without making the Hall of Fame. But it still could be a case where you don't make the Hall of Fame,
This thing's practically a paddle boat.
you know?
So he could swallow us whole on a whim. So we're sticking to the
So when you look at Joe Johnson's his career stats, he's got over 20,000 points, 5,000 rebounds, and 5,000 assists. That really helps. And his All-NBA selections, he was All-NBA third team once. And that's all he's got. So 7 All-Star appearances and All-NBA third team once. A 50% Hall of Fame probability. But then guys with as many All-Star selections as him include guys who have made the Hall of Fame, like Alonzo Mourning, Kevin McHale, Scottie Pippen, T-Mac, Walt Frazier, Joel Embiid, who's certain to be a Hall of Famer someday. Only one more selection than him, guys like Steve Nash, Dikembe Mutombo, Damian Lillard, Kyrie Irving, Dwight Howard, Alex English, Vince Carter, Giannis. You know, it's like it's a done deal. Let me see here.
I think there's one guy that made 7 All-Star games and didn't get in, but he played in like the 50s.
DeMar DeRozan's Hall of Fame probability on Basketball Reference 46%, so a little bit less than Joe Johnson.
It would be so fucking weird if he got in.
Yeah, I know how you feel. But the thing is that the reason it's almost as high as Joe Johnson is because he's also got 3 All-NBA selections, 1 All-NBA third team, and then 2 All-NBA second team. And that's what's fucking crazy. 2018 and 2022. I'll check stats for those. Okay, 2018, I do not agree with that shit at all. 2018, he should not have even remotely been All-NBA second team. That is outrageous. These are stats for that year. He finished 8th in MVP voting that year, by the way. 23 points per game, 5 assists a game, 4 rebounds a game, 1 steal a game, on 45% shooting from the field, 31% shooting from 3, and 82% from the foul line. That doesn't sound like All-NBA second team to me. You know, the Raptors were good that year because they would win a championship the season after, but they did it without DeMar DeRozan because he wasn't even remotely important to that team actually being good. It was a little guy named Kyle Lowry. There was also other guys that they had on that team who were excellent defenders, like Marc Gasol, Pascal Siakam. And what tied it together was that they got a fucking phenom in the name of Kawhi Leonard, who wanted to ball out as hard as he could because he was going to be a free agent, and the harder he balled, the more he was going to get paid. Sucks. 2022, his stats were much better, but this is Tony Roten syndrome because he's playing on the shit-ass Bulls. So he ends up, you know, 10th in MVP voting on 28 points per game, 5 rebounds, 5 assists a game on much better shooting numbers. But still, like, they were an 8th seed, who cares? So, DeMar DeRozan can score points. You know, he can score at the NBA level. Good for him. He's got 23,500 points all time. He's got 3,500 more career points than Joe Johnson. Well, he can score a lot, which is great, but he's very inefficient, and he's a mid-range shooter. He doesn't have a three-point shot. So at the end of the day, he's just not a winner. The way that he plays does not translate into winning basketball.
So I guess every single player that has scored more points than DeMar DeRozan has either made the Hall of Fame or will definitely make the Hall of Fame. So he's going to be like the trendsetter.
It's on now.
I won't give up.
Alright, so DeMar, just get back. Okay, so this is everyone who has more points than DeMar DeRozan all time. Steph Curry, Charles Barkley, Allen Iverson, Ray Allen, Patrick Ewing, Artis Gilmore, Jerry West, Russell Westbrook, Reggie Miller, Rick Barry, Alex English, Vince Carter, James Harden, Kevin Garnett, John Havlicek, Paul Pierce, Tim Duncan, George Gervin, Dominique Wilkins, Oscar Robertson, Akeem Olajuwon, Alvin Hayes, Dan Iser, Carmelo Anthony, Shaquille O'Neal, Kevin Durant, Moses Malone, Julius Erving, Wilt Chamberlain, Dirk Nowitzki, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Karl Malone, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and LeBron. Of everyone that I just named, the only people who are not in the Hall of Fame are either active players or Carmelo Anthony, who just hasn't been retired for long enough to qualify for the vote yet. Because his last season was 2022, didn't retire in 2023. I believe he officially announced his retirement this year.
Go on!
Let me see here. No, actually it was last season. Carmelo Anthony retired from basketball on May 22nd of last year. How long do you have to be retired before Hall of Fame NBA?
You've got this. You're up.
You're eligible for the Hall of Fame after you've been fully retired from play for at least 3 years. So this was the first year he's been fully retired. He's eligible to be in a Hall of Fame class of 2026.
He'll definitely get in, I think.
Oh yeah, he's first ballot.
Yeah.
Because even though Carmelo's a shitbag, he's still insanely fucking high up there all time.
Stay strong and carry on.
28,000 career points, 8,000 career rebounds, 3,400 career assists. 10 All-Star appearances, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 All-NBA selections. Third team 4 times, second team twice.
You've got cursed with coming into the league the same year as LeBron, so he could never make first team.
Correct. It was just, he was never going to make it. But, yeah, he's first ballot, there's no question. Hall of Fame probability is 98%. Pretty funny. But, these are the guys who are eligible for the Hall of Fame this upcoming thing, or for next year, 2025 Hall of Fame candidates. Now these are guys who are not just eligible in terms of they've recently retired and everything, but just everybody who's not in there yet. But there are a surprising number of names that you're like, really? Wow. John Marion, Buck Williams, Horace Grant, Harry Porter, Elton Brand, Larry Nance Sr., Deadlift Fremp, Jeff Hornacek, Otis Thorpe, Bill Laimbeer, who fucking absolutely should because it's the Basketball Hall of Fame and he's like the Phil Jackson of the WNBA. The fact that he doesn't get in is because the voters are all guys that he played against who hate him and despise him. So he'll get Pete Rose and he'll make it when he dies. When he drops dead, he'll be the class right after.
I mean, honestly, his playing career is not that far off from being Hall of Fame worthy.
As far as his playing career goes, he is the only player to have more than 10,000 points and 10,000 rebounds who's not in the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, his playing career, absolutely. Like, if you got those numbers plus 2 championships, and those were hard fucking won championships because when the Pistons had their repeat, that was when the Kareem Lakers were still a thing. It was when Jordan was rising up. Bird hadn't retired yet, and his Celtics teams were still together. He was just getting hurt more and more. You know, you had all the tremendous dynasties of the future had already formed, and they were just getting ready. And all the dynasties of the past were still there, and they still had fight in them. And then the Pistons just came in and just whooped the whole league for 2 years. 4-time All-Star, and no All-NBA selections, but they were much smaller than the All-NBA selections back then, so. Yeah, he should have made it, but anyway. Sam Perkins, Rasheed Wallace, was a very similar thing where he deserves to be Hall of Fame, but he's too controversial. Tyson Chandler, Jason Terry, Andre Miller, Eddie Jones, A.C. Green, Kevin Johnson, Amari Stoudemire, Mark Jackson, I'm surprised is in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he should probably get in at this point because of his announcing chops as well. Like, he was a big part of the voice of the NBA for a long time. He'll get in because of that.
He wasn't too good of a coach, but he was a coach for a while, and 12,000 points and 10,000 assists. Let me check some other stuff.
He made the finals that one year with the Pacers, right? He was the Pacers point guard the year they made it against the Lakers.
Yeah.
You know, actually, Big Country, some people think that Aldridge will make the Hall of Fame. I don't feel like he should, but some people seem to think he's going to get in.
Marcus Aldridge?
Yeah, LaMarcus.
The guy who might make the Hall of Fame, who just recently qualified, is actually Marcus Gasol. He might do it. It'd be neat if he did.
Well, he's got the foreign accomplishments as well. So he's got to get in.
Because of the international stuff, he's got a chance.
You want a defensive player of the year? Honestly, you could argue he's a better player than Powell because he was so good defensively and Powell was just mediocre.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a big class. But anyway.
Also, Mark won the championship with the Raptors.
Not long now. I hope you realize this temple of yours is not, in fact, the promised land.
No. Then what is it?
The beginning of the end. The celebration of the faithful. A watershed moment for all mankind. But the temple itself, merely the stage.
Objective sighted.
Are you sure this is the place?
Quite.
Man. So, like I was telling you earlier, I watched Twister last night. Or tonight, for the first time ever. I've never seen it before. And I'm looking some stuff on it now. The movie was made with a $90 million budget. And it's a heavy special effects movie. And it's got a lot of big-name actors in it. And they made it for $90 million.
Yeah, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Helen Hunt,
Bill Paxton.
What's his name?
Yeah, Bill Paxton, The Princess Bride, Carrie Ells.
Bill Paxton, there you go.
Jami Gertz, who is not a big name in acting, but she's married to a billionaire who owns the Atlanta Hawks, so she's actually kind of well-known because of that. The loser friend from Ferris Bueller's Day Off is one of the storm chasers.
I'm looking.
All right, mateys. Time to hoist the sails.
This thing doesn't have any! And I'm not your matey either!
Just roll with it, kid.
Anyway.
Y'all ready?
Down
the hatches and
Gary
hold on
Busey's
tight.
son is one of the storm chasers as well. And also, young Helen Hunt, played by Alexa Vega. You may know her as Carmen in the Spy Kids movies.
No, the only Carmen I know is from Starship Troopers.
Mm-hmm. I guess it really does highlight how much money laundering is going on in Hollywood these days. Yeah, Antoine Jameson is the one player in NBA history who I think has 20,000 points, 8,000 rebounds, and not only will not get into the Hall of Fame, he will. It's unthinkable that he'll get into the Hall of Fame. Like, nobody actually thinks he should. Like, even in his prime, he wasn't really a good player. For every point he scored, he allowed a point on the defensive end.
Yeah, that's the thing with him, is that there are a lot of cases throughout history of a guy where he gets the numbers, but it's just because he's there. It's just because someone had to. And you're not incompetent by any stretch of the imagination, but even on the worst possible teams, someone has to score. Even the worst teams we've ever seen in the history of the league, with guys who were absolute trash and didn't belong in the league, and after that team was done tanking, they were never seen in the league again. Even those teams, as bad as they were, they didn't lose every single game by like even 15 points. You know? So even the shittiest teams out there are still keeping games reasonably close. But because of that, if a guy is just around long enough and in the right situation, then yeah, he ends up getting a bunch of numbers. And it's not because he's Hall of Fame caliber, it's because somebody's gotta.
There's so much tension.
Wave
Maybe
the
instead of
number on
calling
the
it
old
Tony
gal.
Roden syndrome, we
Come
should
give her
call it
once over.
Anton Jameson
You go
syndrome.
on ahead.
Yeah, you could do that.
Sure about that?
I'm a big boy.
Wasn't Tom Chambers the All-Star game MVP one year? I think I remember that.
I have no idea.
He's another guy who has
But
Hall of Fame stats, but will never make it.
actually, you say that, but his Hall of Fame probability was 5%, 20,000 points, 6,700 rebounds, 2,200 assists, and 4-time All-Star, 2-time All-NBA second team. Yeah, and that was just genuinely a case of he was on the Sonics in the 80s, and then in the early 90s he was on the Suns, and was like basically just there for a lot of it. Like he was on the downswing of his career. Then came off the bench for a while. Yeah, that's wild, man.
Be right back. Okay, I am back. Yeah, I remember them talking about that a lot, David, during the Lakers Mavericks playoff series in 2011. About how, the Lakers and Mavericks had been kind of playoff rivals in the 80s, but it was really weird that Kobe and Dirk had never played against each other in the playoffs. And they were finally playing against each other, and then, of course, the Lakers got completely nuked from orbit.
What about being nuked from orbit?
The Lakers in that playoff series against the Mavericks in 2011, remember? That was the Andrew Bynum series. The People's
Literally
Elbow.
all I heard was nuked from orbit.
Oh, yeah, I was just talking about that Lakers-Mavericks series where Bynum did the People's Elbow.
Yes, the hero elbow. That's what I call it, the hero elbow.
Mm-hmm.
The elbow of divine justice. Be fair, when you think about it, that elbow did actually kill the Mavs. They won the championship that year on a combination of their own inertia after that elbow plus LeBron's hubris.
Mm-hmm.
But haven't won since. And that last the previous finals, their first time since 2011, it just looked abysmal.
Yeah, that Rockets team had Hakeem and Ralph Sampson. And the Lakers didn't really have size because Kareem was really old. So there was nothing they could do to handle Hakeem and Ralph.
Talking about the 1981 playoffs?
No, this was 1986.
Trying to do too many things at once. Hakeem was surprisingly inefficient in that series against the Celtics. But Ralph Sampson got absolutely fucking dumpstered. And that was kind of the signal that they were like, you know what? I don't think this kid's really going to get it done. And he only played one more year for the Rockets after that before they traded him.
I think he got hurt, too, in that series, and he never really recovered from it.
Yeah, but he played all 6 games. He just played like shit.
Mm-hmm.
And again, Hakeem was surprisingly inefficient in that series. Hakeem shot 48%, which you wouldn't really expect. And Ralph Sampson shot 43%, which was way worse.
Mm-hmm. There, nice.
Let me see here. Kareem was an animal in that series. He scored like crazy. Hakeem was not giving him any problems at all.
In the Western Conference Finals?
Yes. But the thing is just that the size of Hakeem and Ralph, rebounding was still extremely important in that league, especially since people usually shot like shit if they weren't 7 foot tall. So that was the big time difference maker. Another reason is that the Rockets actually embraced the 3-point shot. The Lakers did not.
Well, death isn't scary at all. Whoa, whoa, whoa. It's perfectly natural. Even the birds, even the bees.
Ah!
Yeah, I'm still trying to recover from the fact that I like how at first the song was actually working, and then it stopped working after Bill Nye crashed into the fucking power lines. Yes. All right. All right. Let's see here. Bronny, 4 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists in 22 minutes. 2 for 9 from the field, 0 for 3 from 3, 0 for 2 from the free throw line. His debut was met with mixed reactions, with some highlighting his potential and others noting his underwhelming performance. What potential? Like, what potential are we talking... Come on, what are we talking about here?
I don't even want to know.
He's so bad, LeBron doesn't even want him as his kid. He cast another kid to play his kid in Space Jam. Bronny wasn't even good enough to get the part of his kid in Space Jam 2. Think about that. That's pretty damning.
Remember when Rotten became the ocean?
Yeah.
And then he started killing people. Like, oh, uh-oh.
I wonder if how good Hakeem would be in the modern day, because post moves don't matter as much as they used to. like being good in the post is not really considered that good of a weapon unless you tandem it with a bunch of other stuff. Like Jokic is really good in the post, but if that's all he had, he wouldn't be that good.
I feel like guys just need to be able to do something effectively enough to be able to create space for their teammates. Because Jack had nothing resembling a three-point shot, but if he was in the league today, I still think that he would be exactly as good as he always was, because he was a great passer on top of being dominant. So when the double team came, because you couldn't guard Shaq in the post one-on-one, because even from the three-point line, he'd still manage to back your ass down before the 5 seconds was up. As soon as the double team comes or the triple team comes, he dishes it to the open guy, and as long as he can hit any kind of shot, whoever guy you're passing it to, you're fine. The major issue is, though, is that it's not like it used to be where you could have two dominant post scorers who didn't have anything besides the post game. Because if you do that, then now the space is too clogged and guys can't really take advantage of defensive rotations to find the open man and the good shot.
Mm-hmm. Alright, the temple.
The ancients built all this? Damn.
The Cetra, yes.
What? Finally.
We who are born of the planet, with her we speak, her flesh we shape. Unto her promised land shall we one day return. By her loving grace and providence may we take our place in paradise.
Oh, no. This isn't the promised land. I mean, just look around. It can't be. Not with all this sadness and anger.
We good?
Yeah.
Sorry, no refunds.
They didn't waste any time. The greedy sons of bitches.
It's avalanche! Spam the ancient!
Burn, sloppy.
Get him! Bring it!
It's over.
Too late! Gotcha! There!
Time to burn. This ends now.
Oh shit! You can't run! How do you like that?
Gotcha. Let's finish this. That'll do.
Serious drama, but a horse.
You're mine. Ain't dead yet. Gotta be careful. Any last words?
This one's for you!
You're up.
Grenade!
Feeling good.
Chew on this!
I've got you covered. Bombs away!
Hashtag nothing ever happened.
Still in it.
Yeah, Napoleon was absolutely tremendous.
Never again.
And like I said before, a fucking weirdo proto-communists who were in charge of the revolution before Napoleon came into power. Some of the most bloodthirsty fucking weirdos. And, like, you can really see how it is that Napoleon has such a negative reputation today. Because a lot of the exact same people that Napoleon kicked the shit out of and opposed when he became emperor are the exact same kinds of people who led England by the nose into World War II and then ended up being the bad guys in World War II and would go on to win and all that other shit. Napoleon was fucking great, man, seriously.
Fiends killed these men. This is one hell of a mess.
Yeah, but they didn't have Aerith. We get a free pass, right? But
half of me is Cetra, right? I tried, but no free pass for us.
Now, I know I came with you all this far, but I ain't about to go in there. Sorry, folks.
No, don't apologize. You have done so much for us already.
And it's also devastating
always
that
be
that
grateful,
fucking
Sid.
Wait, don't
Ridley
misunderstand.
Scott ended up making the shit show
You'll
that he
need a way
did.
home. So when you're ready, I'll be here.
Yeah, I was listening to a podcast recently talking about Ridley Scott, about how many good movies he's made, and then you also look at some of the absolute slop that he's made, and it's... You wonder how that happens, right? Because Ridley Scott has made Alien, he's made... He made Blade Runner, right? I think he made Blade Runner, he made Gladiator... He made Prometheus, which was okay. But then he makes garbage like Alien Covenant. I didn't hate Napoleon, but it wasn't good. So, it's one of those things where it's like... You look at a couple... There are probably a couple directors out there, not that many, who have never made a really bad movie. And you wonder how they do it if somebody who is clearly as good as Ridley Scott is able to misfire that badly sometimes.
The Ancient has entered the temple.
And he is doubtless close behind. This is going to be interesting. Oh, yes.
I hope you're watching, Dad.
Cloud, do you know who?
Sephiroth beat us to the punch. Come on. We don't have much time.
Yeah, I mean... Generally speaking, I think that big men have a tendency to fall off in that same rough period of time. Like after 10 to 13 years in the league, they just lose it. Now, Shaq lost it in a couple of different phases. He went from best player in the league to top 3 to top 5 to top 10 to top 20. So, you know, it's really hard to pinpoint it.
It's because that game relies on brute force. So the shelf life is a lot shorter, and the mileage makes way more of a difference. It's why Kareem was so special, and why Tim Duncan was so special, and why what LeBron is doing is like not inspiring at all. Because you're just thinking about it, like, you know what? Yeah, you know, if you just did a ton of steroids for 20 years and came into the league when you were in high school, then yeah, that's big. Like, do you think that if Steph Curry played until, like, for the exact same amount of seasons as LeBron, that he wouldn't end up having the scoring title?
Check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Steph Curry has 15 seasons, and one of those 15, he only played 5 games before, or no, that was the last 5 games of the season, he was out. Like that was the COVID year. He missed almost all of it with injury. So I mean, shit. You could also just say if he had, you know, the amount of games played as LeBron. And I mean, you know, being an Iron Man is its own thing and is respectable and all that kind of shit. But again, if he just chucks threes all day and played as many games as LeBron did, he'd probably have that scoring title too.
Well, yeah, if Kareem played today, he'd definitely learn how to shoot threes because he had a jumper.
The ancients built all this just to hide something? That black materia's gotta be worth a fortune!
Shh. Oh, not another word about the black materia. We can't let Shinra find out.
Like Kate hasn't already told him. Doesn't matter if they know or not. We just need to find it first.
Hold up. What the hell?
That was wild.
I could be wrong.
The same people who
starting to
think that the
we
United
checked our
States
sanity at
government
the
is
door.
responsible for all of the problems in the entire world are the people who want to make it extremely powerful and large and unstoppable and just given a blank check to do whatever they want. That's not statism. I don't know what is.
Well, we just have to get the right guys in, and
The
it'll
only
all be
promised
okay.
thing here is death for us all.
Elena, cut the chatter.
Hey, you know I'm
You
right.
know, right guys on the low end, and they're not nice.
Sir, Avalanche and the Ancient, they're here.
I say we set an ambush and take them out.
Purchasing power equivalency of a minimum wage job in the United States in 1970, $1.50 an hour, would be equal to one making $20 an hour today. Holy shit!
Reno,
And yeah, that's the whole
Aaron,
thing is purchasing
Elena,
power.
you're
When
with
you
me.
account for inflation, it doesn't also factor in purchasing power, which is still part of the whole thing and something you have to account for.
Reno.
But it's not something that's immediately
So you keep your
quantifiable, so you can
priorities
easily
straight.
hand wave it.
Copy that, boss.
You know, because you adjust for inflation and you're like, oh, this is nowhere near as bad. But then you factor in the purchasing power also, and then you end up with that. Where this guy's like, if you're making minimum wage in 1970, it's the equivalent to making $20 an hour today. And here in California, it's already $20 an hour minimum wage if you work in fast food. That is very different from a $20 an hour minimum wage in Alabama.
This temple's
But
darling
since that was
enough
federal
without
minimum
Shinra
wage, it's
Black
exactly what the
Robes
equivalent would be.
complicating things. Gonna be tough going, folks.
You think Sephiroth's here too?
$20 an hour in Missouri gets you pretty far.
Got a real bad feeling about all this.
We shouldn't think like
$20 an hour in South
Stay
Dakota.
positive, okay?
Really
Space
nice.
can
I'm
sense
sitting
our
here like,
emotions.
fuck.
Turn them against us.
That'd be awesome.
Okie doke.
Yeah, like you said, the rate of inflation, and that's another thing, is because they keep changing how inflation is measured over the same time period also. Totally fucked up.
Get him! Come on!
I got your number.
Later I'm going to do a Brock story where Bronny gets his ankles broken so bad on defense, he ends up going into cardiac arrest on the floor of the court.
Let's keep it up.
You know, sometimes I think realism in certain sims goes just a little bit too far. Because they're chasing realism to such an extent, they just forget about what's actually fun.
Yeah, that is something that happens. It's like,
Like, I'm a huge fan of military sims.
mm-hmm.
And one of my favorite games is, this very recent game. They're still developing it, called U-Boat, in all caps, and it's a World War II U-boat sim. And the thing is that the most recent content patch, they included more early war stuff. So they're like, yeah, we really wanted you to have that experience of like really tracking a U-boat crew throughout the entirety of the war, including, you know, when it first starts, you know, and you first end up
We just get turned
in one of the early
down?
U-boats at the outset of the war, even before, you know, when you're only fighting Poland, and you're not even allowed to fire on French or British shipping yet because they haven't formally declared war. But the thing is that for a large part of the war, not just the Axis, but the Allies also, like, especially in the United States, this was a problem in 1943 because of a great deal of corrupt military-industrial complex people who were just basically embezzling money because they were given a blank check to fight the war and all that kind of shit. There are some who think that they were collaborating with the Axis. But early in the war, for everybody, torpedoes were extremely inefficient. They would end up being duds, I shit you not, 2/3 of the time. So I'm sitting there like, okay, you're playing a video game, you're playing a military simulator video game. The point is to have fun.
The blood.
Regardless.
I can almost smell it.
Yeah, there's this balance that you have to strike. It's really hard, I will admit.
2/3 of your fucking torpedoes end up being duds. Perfect fucking firing solution. Absolutely perfect. As good as it could possibly get. Torpedo was a dud. And you blow your entire stock of torpedoes. They were all duds when you did everything that you fucking could have. Like, what the fuck? Because early war, the shit sucked. They had to work out because it was new technology, they had to work out the kinks. Like, early war, they didn't, warm up the torpedoes. Because as it happens, when the torpedo is cold, like, literally the temperature is cold, the arming mechanism doesn't often work properly. But when it's hot, it actually does, because the metal is thinner and it helps conduct the electrical signals easier. But then, because of just how many problems they were having with the impact mechanism firing, they said, okay, screw it, we'll go with a magnetic trigger then. And then they started developing all sorts of different technology to try to get around all the different problems that they were having. And it's like, this is great and everything, but you're telling me that It's gonna be fucking awful.
We've gotta do something.
It sucks. So like I'm watching a guy playing through it right now, and Daniel is like, okay, there's another dud. He's got like because it's early war, the maximum amount of torpedoes that you can have on the fucking boat is like 5. All 5 are done. And early war, the very first U-boat design, the only gun that it had on the deck was an anti-aircraft gun. It shot the German equivalent of 50 caliber rounds. Later on, other models would add what was essentially a 90mm cannon, which, you know, the famous 88 that the Germans had. And that at least can sink, you know, really small boats like merchant shipping and stuff. But you don't even have that for like the first year. I'm like, why the fuck would you even play through that? Oh my god.
Have fun.
But that's the funny thing is that early in the war, because they had all these problems, hardly anything actually got done with U-boats. It wasn't until after the fall of France when they start rolling out new model U-boats that are addressing all these problems that the guys had, that they had what U-boat captains referred to as the happy times, which was just 1940s. Because you're only fighting England, and you have the advantage because anti-submarine warfare hadn't developed enough yet to where they could really do anything about it, and the new model submarines you had, the torpedoes were more effective, and you had a deck gun, so you were shooting fish in a barrel. They call it the happy times, and they're like, this is easy as fuck. By the end of the war, they'd end up having the highest casualty rating out of any service, of any military that participated in the war. Around 3/4 of anyone who served on a U-boat, around 3/4 of them were killed in action.
Well, legend says.
I wonder what the rate of dud is these days in submarines.
Why am I only hearing this now?
Oh, it's much better than it used to be.
I wonder if it's like 3% or 4%. I wonder.
The problem is that there hasn't been like actual submarine firing a shot in anger in decades. Because anytime we go to war, like, how long did it take to sink the Iraqi Navy? Like, let me check even. When is the last time a submarine used a torpedo in combat? The last time a ship was sunk by a submarine was in March of 2010, and this is fucking worldwide here. The last time it happened in the world was in 2010 when North Korea sank a South Korean ship with their submarine. Oh my god.
Been arguing with my friends. Are the Lakers a top 10 team heading into next year right now? I can't imagine.
Not even a top 10 team in Los Angeles. Like,
I can't imagine they're a top 10 team in the NBA. You've got, okay, the Thunder. Let's just think about the West. The Thunder, the Nuggets, the Timberwolves.
Thunder, Nuggets, Timberwolves, Mavs,
Mavericks,
Clippers still.
Clippers. I don't know about the Clippers because Kawhi is going to miss a lot of games and no more Paul George. Like,
they still got Harden. Harden and Kawhi, and they picked up a lot of decent guys on the side. They actually, like I said, you know, I didn't think that they were going to go anywhere, but they've been filling guys out. If they get good production out of their role players here, they might actually be better. It all of it depends on whether or not Kawhi wants to try. But like Nick Batum is an incredible role player. If he plays like he did last season, he's going to have insanely productive minutes. And, you know, because we just keep counting that, like, I'm dead serious. They're not even a top 10 team in Los Angeles anymore. Clippers are better, Dodgers are better, Angels are better, Galaxy are better, Sparks are better, Kings are better.
At basketball.
Well, I meant the LA Kings in hockey.
I know, I'm kidding. I'm being facetious. I'm saying they would
Yeah,
beat the
yeah,
Lakers
yeah.
in basketball. But anyway, East
Right.
is, you've got the Celtics, you've got the Pacers.
Rams, the Chargers. I don't care that the Raiders are in Vegas. Their fan base is in LA, so I'm still counting the Raiders.
I don't know what the Lakers did to make themselves better than last year. LeBron is 1 year older. I like the guy they got in the draft, but that's not going to matter this year. Like, how did the Lakers get better from last season? A team that was like the 7th seed and went one and done. Honestly, the Kings might be better than the Lakers, even though I don't like the DeRozan signing. Keep an eye on the Jazz, by the way. They might be trending in the right direction here.
This ends here. Too bad. Now.
Get him!
That's it.
That's it! Gotcha! Okay, let's go!
Getting into this shit with a guy right now, because I did what is like the big no-no for boomers, which is getting on Reagan. But it's completely valid, because Reagan fucked California harder than anybody by amnestying the illegals. So this guy's trying to defend it, and I'm like, dude, he turned California into a favela for all time, and you're gonna blame the trade constituency
Do it.
I'm in!
for the problem that he made?
Let's do this.
Man, that really pisses me off.
You're as good as dead.
Feel the breeze! Enjoy the ride!
Calling wind.
Good night. I think I'm all warmed up.
No way. Yes. Nope. Should have to hold it.
Please tell me you saw that.
No comment.
Piece of cake.
Gotcha!
Buzz off.
I'll take you can do it. All set. I'm coming. One more shot. Can you take over for me?
Hang back.
So,
Steady now.
the last time worldwide
Get him!
that a ship was sunk by a submarine in battle was in 2010 when the North Koreans sunk a South Korean ship.
Mm-hmm.
And the last time that a NATO member sunk a ship using a submarine in battle was in 1982 during the Falklands War. Is the first and only time that a ship was sunk by a nuclear submarine. When a former U.S. Navy diesel World War II era sub that had been given to the Argentinian Navy was sunk in 1982 by the British submarine Conqueror during the Falklands War. And the last time that the U.S. Navy sunk an enemy ship with a submarine was during fucking, I want to say Vietnam, but I'm not totally sure. No, actually. The first warship sunk in action by submarine since World War II was in 1971, the India-Pakistani War of 1971. The INS Kukri was a Type 14 frigate of the Indian Navy and was sunk by the Pakistani Daphne-class submarine, the PNS Angkor. In 1971, so it's been a minute. Because that was the first ship sunk since World War II by a submarine, and there's only been one ship ever that was sunk by a nuclear-powered submarine. It was during the Falklands War. I gotta say, the last time the U.S. Navy sank a ship with a submarine was during World War II. And most of the action that we participated in sinking stuff with submarines was all in the Pacific theater, because the Germans didn't really have much in the way of merchant shipping, and most of their navy was just the U-boat, so there was no submarine versus submarine kind of thing going on at the time. And in Japan, they'd conquered the Dutch East Indies, which is modern-day Indonesia, for the oil producing of that place. So the U.S. Navy figured out that there were only two routes that they could possibly take to get that oil back to the Japanese home island. So what they did is they just went to both of those areas and parked their submarine fleet there, and they sank, like, basically a war crime. They fucking killed hundreds of thousands. Glad.
Be right back, everybody. Okay, I am back.
Yo, this is what I meant when I said that stuff about proto-communists. That's an excellent quote right there.
I see.
Well, a lot of people on the same team have a lot of respect for Napoleon because they're like, look, no matter what you want to say about the guy, him putting all that shit to bed and, you know, killing most of those retards off was really, really good for the way things were going. I gotta get my laundry basket.
I mean, it's like Pinochet, right? Pinochet wasn't the nicest guy in the world, and I'm sure he committed some human rights violations, but a lot of people realize that he made Chile a better place.
It was. At least I think it was. Wonder where it goes.
Wonder all you want, but I don't care to find out.
Aw, what's wrong? You scared?
Yeah, like, you know who else is being redeemed by history?
Who?
Guys like Muammar Gaddafi and Saddam Hussein.
How do you figure?
Because they really were right. They were holding back something that was much, much worse, and they provided peace and stability to the region. So even though they themselves were brutal dictators, it's because the people that would replace them were even more brutal.
Mm-hmm.
What they did in the name of actually preserving civilization in the region, and once they left, due to Western influence, civilization left with them.
You deserve to die! Hey! Have another one!
I won't give up.
Stay strong.
It's on now.
Damn it!
Now!
Hey! Coming at you. Nice.
You're done. That'll do.
This one's for you!
Man. The guy who directed Twister also directed Speed. I did not know that. What a decade he had then. He revived the disaster movie genre and greatly prolonged the kinda schlocky but charming action movie genre.
I could do that again.
I think the Thunder have a decent chance at winning the title this year. They're probably, if you were to rank every team, they'd be top 4. If you could know the answer to one question, what would it be? What will the Powerball numbers be tomorrow? I don't know.
Oh man, somebody fucking. I was reading this thing. It was like the guy won the $2 billion Powerball, and when he took the lump sum and all the taxes got through with him, 1.5 of that billion was gone. So imagine winning the $2 billion Powerball, and people think that you're a billionaire now. So I mean, you still have $500 million. That's a shitload of money. You're still one of the richest people in the country. But people think you're a billionaire because they hear that you won the $2 billion Powerball. And now everybody's coming after you. Oh man, that would suck.
I wouldn't be too unhappy about it, but I wouldn't be thrilled about it either. Non-money related questions. It'd probably have to be something to settle the theological, to settle theological questions, right? Of some kind. What do I do? Yeah, I have a feeling Jokic is going to want to murder Westbrook by, like, game 30. I don't totally get that one either. Yeah, honestly, I'm disappointed in... I can't remember the name of the guy who owns the Nuggets. Is it Kroenke? It's not Kroenke, is it? It's, I can't remember who owns the Nuggets right now. They have a team that should be making a title run right now, and instead it seems like they're cheap.
It should be Kroenke. If it's not him specifically, it's their various trusts, because, like, his family, by this point, owns all of Denver sports except the Broncos.
Okay.
Yes, the Denver Nuggets owner is Stanley Kroenke, who purchased the Nuggets and the Avalanche and the arena that they play at on July 6th of 2000. So it's actually the 24th anniversary of Kroenke buying the team. The official ownership group is Kroenke Sports and Entertainment, you know, the trust and all that kind of shit. He's just the guy, you know.
But yeah, there should be, like, the Nuggets going all in and spending an obscene amount of money. Instead, they're
Since he purchased these various teams, he's won a Super Bowl, 2 Stanley Cups, the NBA championship, and the soccer championship. So he's got 5 championships for all the sports teams that he owns. He owns the Rams, the Nuggets, the Avalanche. The soccer team he owns is the Colorado Rapids. He also owns the professional lacrosse team, the Colorado Mammoth. He owns the Overwatch esports team, the Los Angeles Gladiators. Call of Duty League esports team, the Los Angeles Guerrillas. He also owns a shitload of wineries in California and a ranch in Texas. Plus, the reason he's rich in the first place is because he married the heiress to the Walmart fortune. Ann Walton. He also owns a soccer team in England. How about that? Got a lot going on.
Alright, what the fuck am I supposed to do here?
Wait a minute, John Wilkes Booth was Jewish? There's no way. There's no evidence that anyone knows that he was Jewish.
Wasn't the guy who shot William, I think it was William McKinley, like a communist or something?
I think anarchists, but yeah, they did a lot of that stuff.
Sounds about right.
I legit cannot believe that Bronny got dropped in the fucking Summer League game. I don't think that's ever happened before. Oh my god. People have gotten dunked on in Summer League games, so I think that's the first time that somebody got dropped.
I mean, I know that NBA players these days are a little bit softer than they used to be, but I have to believe that if you're a player in the NBA right now and you see Bronny out there, you want to humiliate him because of all the hype that is unwarranted. Like, kind of like how when Yao Ming came to the NBA, and obviously Yao Ming was actually a good player.
Bro,
but people just
that's
wanted
a good point. I hadn't even considered any of that. Think about what Caitlin Clark's going through and the way everybody's playing physical on her and bodying her and all this kind of shit.
Yeah.
Bronny's gonna get fucking leveled.
Yeah, is it going to be something similar?
People are going to take all the frustration they've had on LeBron out. Their entire careers are going to take him out on Bronny. Fucking Kevin Garnett's going to come out of retirement just so that he could check Bronny.
Every possession, whoever Bronny is defending, get him the ball. He's like Poochie. Whenever Poochie's not on ball, everybody should be thinking, where's Poochie?
Storm's coming.
Check out the I just sent you.
Oh, okay. Imagine if Thomas Jefferson tried to overthrow the government.
I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
Calling wind.
what I can do. You can do it. Here goes. Yeah. Go on. Stop it. Get him. Here. It's your turn.
Yeah, Draymond Green, when he has to, when he's up against Brawny, that's gonna be fucking awesome.
Freeze.
That's it. Not bad, but not my best.
Who's that one guy on the Pacers who was always fucking with LeBron? It was Lance Stevenson.
Lance Stevenson, yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna come out of retirement to like kick Brawny in the nuts.
He's gonna come out of retirement and be like, "Hey, you guys remember when I blew air in LeBron's ear? Well, now I'll get the ultimate revenge on him and blow his son." Wait a minute. Jesus.
Kinda in a rush, so...
I think I remember Deshaun Stevenson also had a rivalry with LeBron where he was like calling him overrated and stuff. I think it was Lance. I'm sorry, Deshaun Stevenson. And he was actually on that Mavericks team that beat the Heat in the finals. So he got
LeBron and Deshaun Stevenson had beef. And Deshaun apologized for beefing with LeBron.
And for referring to him with that unfortunate slur.
In March of 2019, he said, "As black men, we have to be together and uplift each other. We both did the same things. Now that I look back at them older, it's like we basically both made a fool of ourselves."
Right.
I mean, David, won't they bust him out on the Christmas Day game? Isn't that like where this is building up to? They'll play Brawny and let him throw an alley-oop to LeBron Christmas Day.
Yeah. That's what I personally think is going to happen, is that they're going to keep him in the G League to try as hard as they fucking can to let him actually build up some kind of competency.
Let's finish this. No more playing.
So that they can bring him up in December, get him like a couple of games to just like get him up to snuff. So then they can play him in the Christmas game, because you know the Lakers are going to play on Christmas. They always play on Christmas.
Yeah.
And since that's going to be the feel-good moment of the year, you know, they got to do it. And that's why, you know, the tickets to that Christmas game, they're going to be very expensive for exactly that reason too. Is because you know that when you go, you're gonna see fucking history in the making. This is it, man. This is the big father-son alley-oop moment.
And then Bronny hits LeBron in the nuts with the ball.
Exactly. LeBron loses his concentration on the jump, starts flying all over the place. He collides with the backboard. Oh, the humanity.
Oh, that's a good one, Big Country. Lakers, Warriors, and Draymond kicks Bronny in the nuts.
Oh my god. Oh man. No, it's gotta be LeBron's biggest rivals throughout his entire career.
Which is who? JJ Barea? JJ Barea comes out of retirement to try to let Bronny post him up?
No. Fuck. I mean, really, the team that like always got as a GOAT was the fucking Spurs. That's why 2013 was so huge, and then 2014 happened. But he had those legendary battles with the Warriors, but that was only his second stint with the Cavs. I feel like the Celtics are his biggest rivals throughout his entire career.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, not only did you have the KG, Paul Pierce, you know, the big three in Boston, which required creating the big three in Miami, you know, made him leave Cleveland in the first place. But you also had the new age Celtics, you know, the guys that just won the championships. LeBron's famous, he boomed me. That was Jason Tatum. So have it be Lakers-Celtics on Christmas, so everyone knows that the Celtics are going to kick the absolute shit out of the Lakers, which means that it'll be garbage time, and then they can play Bronny in the first place. Once the Lakers are losing by 50 at halftime, they could easily bring in Bronny in the third quarter because it's already over. Play LeBron for like 2 minutes just to get that dunk in, then bench him, and then the game's over. Okay, everybody, enjoy your Christmas.
Yeah, and then the Celtics put all 5 guys defending LeBron every time Bronny touches the ball because they know what he's trying to do.
Oh my god! How fucking amazing would that be? Literally, the only thing Porzingis is there to do is to just jump up to swat the ball away anytime he lobs it. Doesn't do anything else. Literally leaves Anthony Davis wide open. He's like, fuck it. If Anthony Davis is a 70-point game, who cares? I'll be damned if I let Bronny get this oop. Oh my god. That'd be perfect. So many fucking layers to that. Celtics versus Lakers. Bronny as the son of the great social justice hero LeBron James. And then here comes Kristaps Porzingis. Just to ruin his day. Oh man. Gives me a great idea for a Braxton. Okay, I'll be right back. I actually have to go out to my car and start a fine little load of laundry before I go to bed. Which is I gotta wash my work gloves. They're starting to smell pretty heinous.
Gotcha. There's no way Reddick is going to get fired after 1 year. They had to have hired him knowing this is a multi-year process no matter what. This is LeBron's last year anyway, so... Well, yeah, but they hired those guys to win now. There's no way they hired J.J. Redick expecting to win now, and even if they did, that's not going to matter when LeBron retires next year. And they just have to kind of rebuild. I can't imagine they would fire Redick to appease LeBron when LeBron's only going to have one more season left in him. That doesn't make any sense. That'd be like the Buccaneers firing Todd Bowles because Brady doesn't like him, and then Brady retires that offseason anyway. It's like, who cares that Brady isn't happy with him? He's not here anymore.
I've got nothing. Find me when you're done. Bronco's ready when you are.
Yeah, it's one of the all-timers, for sure. I still think that trade where the Magic were able to get the Lakers were able to get Magic Johnson from the Jazz for Gail Goodrich might have been worse. Well, they got the pick that eventually turned into Magic, but still.
There.
See ya! Go on! There!
Calling ice.
Get him!
Sloppy.
Fragrant bush.
Cool off!
All done.
All right. Yes, right pocket, please.
Man, that's wild. Not buying used, but buying brand new. A Chevy C10 truck in 1970 cost $2,800, which was about 10 months of wages on minimum wage. That's buying brand new, not used. So if you had that job for a long enough period of time, you'd easily be able to finance that kind of stuff. That's not rough at all. Like, goddamn. But a brand new 2020 Ford F-150, absolute most basic minimum shit. MSRP 39 grand. So the equivalent to 10 months of wages for somebody working that kind of job, they'd have to be making at least 22 bucks an hour.
The lesson, as always, is we used to be a proper country and now we're not.
Absolutely. Because federal minimum wage, at the same scale, is $7.25. 3 times as much.
Bring it.
It's one of those things that just makes you hate baby boomers more and more, because it's like, you fucking guys had this amazing fucking country, then you decided to shit it all up by letting in a bunch of good people. You just destroyed everything for your kids.
Going in. See ya.
Yeah. What it makes me think of is, do you remember that episode of King of the Hill where they were going over the mower and they did like a 12 Angry Men parody?
I don't think I do remember that one.
They had the guys ended up being part of a focus group for like the new lawnmower, and it was
Moving on then.
over-engineered piece of shit that just had a bunch of nonsense in it, but it was actually garbage. So first, Hank was the only guy who didn't like it, and everyone else loved it. So then that's where the 12 Angry Men thing came in, is that he was trying to convince everybody else that it sucked. It was just like on a jury kind of thing.
I see.
But guys that they had on the focus group is a former preacher who lost his faith after a baptism went wrong and he accidentally drowned a kid or something.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Cotton is also in the focus group, and he's the only reason he's there is just to torment Hank. So at the very end of the episode, Cotton loses and Hank wins. So the preacher goes up to him and says, "Know something, Hank? I don't know if there is a heaven, or even if there is a God. But one thing I know for sure is that your daddy there is going to hell." Oh, man.
That's that. Calling ice.
I think about that quote sometimes.
No time to celebrate.
Don't forget the Coke he got was made with cane sugar instead of corn slop.
Man.
Yeah, and instead of fucking hydrogenated soybean oil and all that fucking other horrific shit that they fry the fries in these days, they used to fry it in beef tallow back then, too.
Fucking life on easy mode, man. Boomers in the 70s had it easier than women now. That's how insane it is.
Speaking of boomers, I have seen so many engagement baiting accounts on X in the last couple of weeks of these people who are either boomers or they're cosplaying as boomers for the purposes of X. Of like these lefty boomers, and every single tweet is just like this tweet if you're still voting for Biden in November, or like this tweet if you agree that the Supreme Court is destroying our country, or shit like that. And like, I didn't know there was such a market for the lefty boomer LARPing.
I got like maybe every fifth word.
Oh, good. Test. Can you...
You were just... Yeah, you were just cutting in and out there.
Okay, 1 second. Can you hear me now? Test. Good. I'm gonna restart this.
I heard you say test twice.
Okay. Let me see here. To be fair, you have to have a very high IQ to understand Rick and Morty. The humor is extremely subtle, and without a solid grasp of theoretical physics, the jokes will go over a typical viewer's head. Did you get all that? I'm gonna restart Discord. 1 second. Okay, I restarted Discord. Is this any better for you?
Yeah, that's much better.
Okay. I was just saying, I have seen a really high percentage over the last, I want to say, couple of weeks of these people, accounts on X, I should say, not people, accounts, who are either like lefty boomers or they're LARPing as lefty boomers, where they have some picture of some senior-aged man in their profile picture, and every single tweet is just engagement bait. It's like this tweet if you're still voting for Joe Biden in November, or like this tweet if you think that the Supreme Court is destroying this country, you know, shit like that. And I'm like, man, I'm surprised there's such a big market for lefty boomer stuff. I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
Mm-hmm. I did not know so many boomers were cucked out like this. I really didn't know how bad it was. Oh, okay. I see. So business as usual for you tomorrow, right?
Yeah, work and stuff.
This is the only way we can catch up to the others. Now jump, goddammit! Okay, just give me a moment, sir.
No way to go but down.
You mean jump?
I can't believe we're doing this.
Oh man, this one's fucking good. This is the idea that I had for a Grok story shortly before I left to go out to my car. Oh my goodness, this is fucking exquisite.
Catch! Can you take over for me?
Chill. Let's do this. Enough. Calling it's on now. Go.
Nice little workout.
Storm's coming. Let's do this. Scatter.
Get him!
Alright, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here for the night. See you guys later.
Let's finish this.